Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Unplanned Live Just to Serve daily show. We got a bunch of information, and we definitely needed to, share that stuff with you and let you know what is breaking and going on. Wow. I don't know.
Dumbfounded. Shocked.
So let me pull up the stuff where we can show you, as we normally do, with proof of the information and details that we have, and it's you're gonna freak out. You will not believe this shit. Okay, hold on. Let me get in there. And by the way, Mama Page, can you look at by the way backstage, please? Okay, just checking. All right. Got it. Okay. All right. So we had some information that started to go down, and then we needed to verify. We were going to go breaking to just talk about some of the details, and then we found out more. Which seems interesting. So what we are breaking for you guys right now, it has not hit live news info yet. It hasn't hit any of that stuff, although there's a little bit of rumblings. The full thing had not come out. Kegan Klein has been moved from the Wabash Valley correctional facility that he was located in to a Newcastle Correctional facility that is just not that far east of the Indianapolis area. And then we had, is Kegan Klein talking now? I had that in there. And then totally by accident again, not by announcement yet. Meaning not by announcement in the news, his sentence has been reduced. But we're going to tell you and show you
why we think
the
that.
details of that, and then we're going to go holy shit react. So be patient here as I flip through all of this information and stuff with you guys, right? So here we go. We have when it first was heard that there was a chance that he moved, right? It was looked up to try to find some details on that to see where prisoners moved. And Mama Bear had went to search in that. And an unusual finding that she sees is that it showed a bunch of courts records are down that you could not get their information. And it said 11 courts, right?
Yes, 11 agencies. Yep.
So it just so happens a coincidence. I'm not saying we have proof of something meaning in this, but it's a coincidence that a bunch of these have that you can't check facilities and locations and stuff where people are. So because we never accept that and we keep looking for shit at all times, eventually it was updated in the actual system in Indiana Department of Correction to show that Kegan Klein confirmed moved to this Newcastle Correctional Facility.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows there's the proof of Indiana Department of Corrections stating it was moved. Now, the other interesting thing, and I guess technically I put, actually, let me go back. Is this the one that says the years?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. This is one.
I don't know. Can you guys see that well enough, or should I bring up another one? Because is that hard for everybody to see? Let me make it a full page. I don't know if everybody can see that well enough.
Yeah, if you can zoom in, that'd be great.
I don't think it lets me zoom. But let me hold on. Let me do this. Oh, it's because of the shot. Hold on, let me try to do something else here. I'm going to go back. I just want everybody to be able to see that clear. It's the gray around it doesn't help. It needs to be just this other. And I'm going to take another shot of it. And then I'm going to create it. I just want everybody to be able to see it, okay? So I am going to make another reduced shot of it. And then I'm going to save it and let you, I just want you guys to be able to see it. So, Mama Bear, do you want to talk about the years while I create the shot for them to see it?
Well, sure.
Tell them what the years now say stuff.
Right. Well, we know originally, I think everybody knows that Keegan was sentenced to 43 years, 3 years obviously suspended. So he got 40 years, right? And as we all know, he's been going through the appellate court, trying to have a reduction in his sentence. So we put his name in the slide that Justice just took down. But anyway, so pull it up. Sure enough, shows the new correctional facility, which is Newcastle, that he was moved. And it shows the date, which she's going to make the new slide for now to make it bigger so you can see what we saw. And we're totally taken aback of the new date of his release for his release date.
His expected release date.
And it is much different than the original. His new release date now is 8/19 of 2048. So that means
is that 40 years?
So 40 years, remember. Now we want to let me point out something. I did just do the show, right? We just had the show. We're talking about that it's in appellate court. Yes. Okay. We did just talk about that what was going on, why it should be 40 years, whether the whether what the response was the last show. So if you didn't catch it, ended up having 2 shows yesterday. The second show was going over what the Indiana Attorney General did back and replied back to the appeal that Kegan Klein was asking for. But so when I go through all of that, they were arguing the fact that Kegan Klein has the amount of time, has the amount of years he should have, all that kind of stuff. So again, remember, he had 40 years, and then he had 3 years, the 3 years that was the served, right?
Time
served. So now we went from 40 years to 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys can see this well. For me, when I enlarged it, it looks blurry, but I don't know how well. But it's that line underneath him. So it's the 4th line down on the left for the offender details. Now he's going to be released in 2048. So do you think that they went to the appeal court? The Indiana Attorney General pushed back and said, no, we think he got the right amount of time. And then all of a sudden, the appeal dropped his sentence to 24 years, or to only 24 years. Well, if that happened, then why is it not showing up? And Mama Bear, did you check the My Case, by the way?
I did, and nothing's coming up as of yet.
So we don't see a response from the appellate court stating that all of a sudden the appellate court looked at all of this stuff that we went through last night's show. Watch it if you didn't. Actually, just go back and watch every damn Keegan Klein show I've ever done. There you go. That's what you should do. But why did he lose that much time? Is Kegan Klein talking? Okay, so let's go to the next. This is also another confirmation for you that we know for certain that he has been moved to the Newcastle facility. This is a notification stating that he has been moved to the Newcastle facility and stuff like that. Let me go back here now that I think about this, because I usually don't think about this, but I should, because I keep having people who like to post stuff and, they at least don't even give any credit, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Anyway, so here's this information and details. So the Newcastle Correctional Facility, it does have a capacity of 3196. It is a private operated facility in Newcastle. It does have different operations of different levels of different levels of people in the facility. So there is still existing high level to low level people in there. Again, this is more details about what is going on and stuff from that. So what they have, what they give, type of services and stuff. So if you watched last night's video that we talked about the details and stuff going on, we talked about this famous clip.
Poor chunk.
Is he talking? Is that how he got a reduction of now suddenly all the way from 40 years to 24? Did the did the court sit here and, see what the Indiana Attorney General replied with, thinking this thing is fine, this is fine. And like I said, my thing was they were either going to ask him to tell all and either give him a deal before the appeal and help him with that sentence, or give him a deal with whatever new sentence he may get, which he's going to also have federal charges. And then that's when I have to go down to the other video when I talked about the CSAM people who are getting busted, like Logan Lorham, like Brent Eastman, like these guys, some of the guys I haven't even got to tell you yet. And then that's when I think we all should participate in a sing-along together, right? And you know what that song would be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't hear it.
Oh, you know what? I probably didn't show that. Sorry, I'm jamming by myself.
Thanks.
Sorry, I forgot. You know what I did? You know what it was? It was due to the fact that when I reshared the screen, right? That's what the hell I did. I messed up when I shared the screen. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Well, this was quickly put together. So
yes, this was like very, 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 very quick, but I still have to do this one for certain for all of you, for you can jam with me.
I know you came here to see. If you afraid, then you come out with me. I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get loose. It's going down for real.
All right, there we go.
It's going down for real. It's going down for real.
So, yes, right? Amazing. Amazing shit. I mean, you got to go back to what the hell? We've got a movement of facility. There wasn't a request for movement of facility. There wasn't a request by his attorney to do so. He sat here and he got moved once in order to deal with this appellate court case up to the Wabash facility, right? He moved from Wabash up north. Actually, he moved from Wabash to the other facility up north. And then he moved from that facility now to this facility. And then you're like, how did he get that many years dropped? He has to be talking. He has to be talking. You're right, Turbo. He won't even serve that. But Turbo, don't worry. Nobody fret about it. Because Keegan Klein, I'm sure, is going to be serving federal time. He was part of sending stuff over the internet to other people. He was part of sending stuff, part of the group who was sitting here, doing this. And, if Anthony Schatz is who led all of this and was the person who led Libby, which in my opinion did, to this setup, then he has culpability in that because he made that actual Anthony Schatz and he helped it get to somebody else. And then whoever he let use it that did that to try to set up the meeting and do all of that stuff, he has culpability in that. So I think they could have told him, hey, we'll take this much time off of you. All that time from 40 years to 24. You saw that the Attorney General was not doing that. So who gave him that time? They didn't sit here and go, oh my God, that was over, who knows? Who knows? Guess we could be wrong, and we could hear that the appellate court came back and said, no, you know what? You were so harsh on him. We're going to take all that time off of him. Right?
Yeah. Well,
Hey, Faye. She made a live. She made a live. So, ladies' responses.
I was
Well,
shocked.
Well, yes, in your opinion, we don't know that. You don't know that yet. Right? That's why we're talking. He didn't get just all that amount of years from in there. He's talking about something.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they found other stuff. There's something in there. Right? There is absolutely something in there.
and please go watch the Keegan Klein live to learn a bit more that what you
Yep.
might not know.
I mean, go to the video that shows the long one that I did. I like to call my marathon video because I've never done that long before. In the marathon video, I sat there and go about the Keegan Klein, or AKA Anthony Shots, set up for Richard Allen. That was a long video that went through every single one of the details. I go through all of the evidence information. We'll use everything and fill that in evidence, not in me just
Months worth
diarrhea
of
at the mouth of shit that's not true. We show evidence of everything with him and what was going on and when the date started. Like that Anthony Schott started communicating with them, and I don't mean like the very first time. I mean during that weekend, Anthony Schott was already talking to Libby and them on that Friday, the 10th, because that's when the girls were off from school the first time. And that's why when they go back to delete the phones, they deleted starting February 10th through the 15th when the phones were taken.
Yeah, and the 15th is when the picture of Bridge Guy came out.
Yep. Let's see. Hello, Fig.
It's true.
Non-credible person like Kegan Klein more. Oh, yeah. Keegan Klein will not be the only evidence. I think Keegan Klein is another puzzle piece that they have to put together and that they needed and would also talk about it. I think that he could be dropping some information.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I mean, you can have your separate opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I'm sure we are going to know a lot more soon. But we also sit here and have, why is this facility moved now? Why is the appeal sitting here now? Who knows? They could come back out, and they could come and say, you know what? The courts did think that the prosecutor was just so harsh and all of that stuff that he had. And so, he should have only got this amount of time. Well, it's not showing up in my case that there's been a response.
There always seems to be a lot of coincidences in the timing when it comes to this. And it's just like, you can't keep calling them a coincidence. Can't.
Yep. Right. There isn't. Every time you think you could take a break, I was done with those 2 shows yesterday, and I thought, okay, we got all this information out there with him asking for the go ahead and let the case be done early. Let's just go to court. Well, honestly, think about this. Could this be related? Does he now know that Keegan Klein may be saying something? Or who the Anthony Shots was that may connect it to Keegan Klein?
I mean, if we believe he did say something in relation to the river search, then why wouldn't we believe that he possibly say something now?
Yep. Now, I want to be clear. We're not sitting here saying that a plea deal was made. No. We don't know that.
Nope.
We are showing you the proof. What we just showed you is that he has been moved. We just showed all the things, that evidence he had been moved and all of that. We just showed you the and by
A
the way,
victim
we
notification.
didn't even bring it up. For some reason, why did I not show that? We didn't bring it up let me go back. I need to show that to everybody too, because we did not, and I want to show the document while we're saying it. So when this was all being looked up, I forgot to mention this.
This was before Mama Bear actually found it.
Right. So when you go in to look up the criminal history of Keegan Klein, it had before the listings, the list of his
Yes.
CSAM charges as his criminal stuff. Well, guess what? It doesn't show anything right now.
Yeah.
And it seems to always happen just as something's going on. Something
Right.
like this will happen.
Just
Again,
like when you go back and initially we go in there and this first screen, suddenly everything's down and you couldn't see anything. And it was saying all of these, not even just one system, right? It wasn't even showing just the Newcastle facility. Was showing that a bunch of different places where you can check where people are in jail or prison, right? It's suddenly down in all of these locations. Now, not even every location in Indiana. There are specific ones. There's 11. Now, we have more than 11 in Indiana.
yes.
Way more than 11. But for some reason, these 11 couldn't provide it. And then finally, boom. Right? Or let me go back. Boom. Right? Finally, all of a sudden, it's released that this is out there and that now he has been moved, and now it shows a lesser sentence. Before anything is showing up in a court filing, that it is appeal. Could it be appeal? Absolutely. But it also could be that Keegan Klein could have made a deal and he is talking finally. Right? That's a possibility. So when you do that, we're just trying to use common sense. These are the facts I'm showing you here, and then we're going to speculate in what it can mean. Right now in my case, it does not show that an appeal was granted. That I went through, again, if you're just joining us, last night's later show was about Kegan Klein's and what the Indiana Attorney General wrote in an appeal saying he deserved the sentence that he got of 43 years, which he's supposed to serve 40 years of time. Now, finally, after first it says nothing is available, you can't see anything. Now suddenly, guess what? We can see it, and his sentence is reduced. And he's been moved to a private facility in Newcastle. So we're not going to show you, we're not going to say anything. This was informing someone that his facility had also been moved. So we're not just using public record on there either. We have other information and stuff on that. But as you can see, his date is moved up dramatically. Dramatically. Let me pop this back up here. There we go. So, ladies, thoughts? You'd like to share your reactions?
Go ahead, Paige. I don't even know what to say. My head is shaking.
Yeah, I really, obviously, most of me is hoping that this means something like what we hope it means. I do hope that he is speaking in some way and, You know, I do think that the Anthony Shots is connected. And if Keegan Klein is the creator of that account, surely he knows the other person or people that were using it. So it's just like, why wouldn't he finally talk? That's just how I feel. What do you
Right.
think, Mom? Sarah?
I think maybe he heard he was going to get some candy bars. I don't know.
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
There's me going all deep about how I feel, and then there's you.
Sorry, did I say that? I apologize. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you talk
Oh.
about coincidences, I mean, it is awful interesting that this is also happening at the same time that Richard Allen decides with his case to turn around and plead for a early trial just to get it over with, not wait the 70 days, right? Or I'm sorry, not wait till October for his defense team to have more time to get ready for the case. Because how did that change? You know what I mean? I mean, that's what's interesting here. You know,
Yeah.
he sits here and he wants 60 days, and I know there's some people's scenario that he's sitting here like, you know, like, oh, well, this is the defense wanted to do that because they want to catch Gull, that Gull is going to, now what is she going to do? What does that mean? Gull doesn't care. She doesn't have to prep for this shit. It's the prosecutor that has to be ready to go. And remember, the prosecutor had dropped recently a whole bunch more stuff in discovery. Well, not recently, but not that long ago, of all this stuff to the defense. And the defense was already arguing that they wanted to be able to have more time to go through all the loads of the stuff dropped by the prosecutor, and they needed more time to go through all of the evidence. So, I don't know how that's supposed to be a theory on that, right?
Mm.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, if that date, isn't an error somehow, like what if that's right, why is that there?
Look at that comment.
Those papers.
Richard Allen's going to be
That's right,
eating a lot of
Chapel.
paper.
No doubt.
Oh, shit. That's funny. Sorry. I'm sorry.
His digestive tract is certainly not going to be working very well.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Oh.
Hello, Bossy. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, I mean, all we do is showing you the evidence. We're showing you what we have. We definitely know he was moved, and we definitely know that it's now reflecting a different release date. Okay? What does that mean? Right now, we don't know. I am sure more is going to drop. So we need to be ready for that. You know what I mean? We need to be ready for that to happen.
I'm ready. Let's get everything moving.
Yeah, I mean, we've been feeling like something is happening for a long time, and maybe it finally is. Things are moving along.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Persevere. Here, I'll fix it. Let me fix this back here.
Yeah. She made a
nope,
comment that she recognizes my voice, and I don't know where from, because
Why
this is the
doesn't
only
it show our
place I've
names underneath
talked.
it? That's weird.
This is the only place I've talked on, I think. So I don't know.
Oh, what? Maybe because I have to do that. Hold on. Does that help? No, it didn't help. Why is it doing that? Nope, I don't want that either. That's odd. It's not showing us. What the shit? Okay. I'm sorry. Up on panel, I normally introduce. It's Paige. Miss
Hi.
Paige and Mama Bear is up here with me, Miss Persevere.
Hello.
So yeah, my troop of ladies, my research group here, all of us. I think, again, we wanted to be here to tell you first and right away about this info, about what was going on, about the new developments. And, I think that, we're hearing about other arrests and stuff that are going down right now, which means something is going on, right? They're going around arresting people for some reason.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, a large amount of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. Oh, that's right. There you go. Now
Oh,
it's showing up. How did that pop up now? Oh my God.
And it's really big.
that's so funny.
Never been that
I don't
big
even know what's
before.
going on. Okay, maybe that's better.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
goodness.
so here, again, I know a lot of people are jumping in and joining us right now. So facts. Oh, we're all about the facts, but we're right now, this is our kind of reaction show to it. We're giving you breaking facts that we have and then our reactions to it. So the breaking facts, Keegan Klein is no longer in his facility he was in. He was just moved to the facility in Newcastle, the Newcastle Correctional Facility in Newcastle, Indiana. That is east of Indianapolis area. We know that it was hidden at first, that he was moved, that you couldn't publicly see. We showed you proof that finally it popped up and we could confirm what we heard. And then after we confirmed what we heard, we also showed you that there was a notification that went out to people who follow his info, and that they were also notified of it. We also can tell you that, when you're looking at the details, for some reason now it is blocking what his criminal charges are. You can now not see, at least when we checked this last year, you cannot see what his criminal charges are. It's not listed. And then it shows that his current charges for what he's convicted for, which was the CSAM of a 40-year term.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's only showing that he's only serving in 24 years. Now, last night's show is I went through the Indiana Attorney General's appeal document against Kegan Klein receiving any reduced time, because they gave the examples of what they did reduce in the amount of time that he was serving. Could it be that the appellate court reduced him from 40 all the way down to 24? There is that chance that could have happened. It's not showing up in my case. So I find it interesting that it's not showing up, that the order already got written for the appellate court, but yet his other document has already been updated to say something else.
Right.
They could have done, and this is, I'm speculating, but if there is some kind of deal going on, which I think he didn't take a deal where he could have got this sentence reduced. And remember, even said to him it could have gone away. He sat here and didn't take that deal. And so they could come back only on a local level they can offer, or the feds could have come in and said something, because remember, he hasn't been charged with distribution, and he distributed, and that is a federal charge.
Mm-hmm.
So the feds could have come in, or even local could have come back in and said, look, we'll give you the deal if you tell us what we need to know that you're doing and anybody you're covering for. We'll take time off your sentence.
That's what we're hoping for.
Right. And or it could have come in and said, you know what, we'll reduce this sentence, but we're going to look at charging you for XYZ. And in order for you to get that sentence reduced and maybe get not so heavily charged here, you're going to talk. And that could be it. Now, this is speculation. It's not speculation
Right.
he's been moved, and it's not speculation his sentence has been reduced. But it is, the coincidence again that it happened to be around the same time that other stuff is going on.
Exactly.
How many coincidences is that now?
I don't know.
1 million?
We need a chalkboard.
I'm having deja vu.
Jesus, I know.
I mean, every day it's something else. And I'm sure chat knows too. I mean, it's just boom, boom, boom. Every time we think we can work on something else, something else happens.
Do some coincidences throughout this case get disproved? Yes, but some of them also haven't. So you got to look at all of them, especially when it comes to the Anthony Shots stuff. It's just, even when we looked back at everything, it blew our minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know.
Well, and I will tell you, we are looking to cover a case also, by the way. I'm just going to throw this out there. Another case of an Indiana man who did catfishing, who wanted video and pictures of murder and rape. And he did this for teenagers and had a teenager killed. And we're going to be covering that story as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy was from Indiana also.
She was murdered by her friends because of what this man was coercing them to do.
Yeah, he was trying to say he was wealthy too, and that he would give them money. So that's going to be something else that we talk about on another show.
Looking at that when this happened.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, literally the second.
Yeah, we're
like I said, we try to work on other stuff. It just doesn't.
Every time my phone rings now, I'm just like, shit, what is it this time? Like, my anxiety is all over the place. Like, what is going on? Like, I need to know now. We need to know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we definitely wanted to make sure. I mean, Paige, anything else that you'd want to share? Thoughts? I mean, I guess if I have to share my overall wants and thoughts is, I really hope that I'm excited that the show yesterday we did about Richard Allen and wanting the speedy trial, I think is great news for the Delphi community and for the true crime community and for the families, because I think that we need to have this over with. And it's been a long enough wait. And I am anxious for the case to get started and done.
Absolutely.
And, I don't know why, again, he tried to have an early trial before the Indiana Supreme Court's time frame. So,
and they filed it. So, and now they're filing it.
Yep. And so I'm hoping that'll be it. And who knows, maybe the 70-day trial is also that, he's going to have the trial early, and maybe they offer, because I really feel like the prosecution's strategy for this was to add the first-degree murders charges so that they can offer that as part of a plea deal to say, okay, we'll take the death penalty for first-degree murder off the table if you tell us everything that going on, and you've got to name names and say anybody else who's engaged in this or part of anything, and plead guilty, and then they take that off, and then he's got the felony murders and the death penalty off the table.
Yeah, and if you're looking for someone else who, let's say, used the Anthony Shots account, right? And they can't really exactly show who that is. They're trying to find out. So they need those kind of statements, like witness statements, to actually say something that would connect and make sense that this is that person. And then they could look into it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they need people to say something. They can't just always find out themselves. They always need someone to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I think
Well,
this could be that type of situation, really.
well, Faye, and the thing when Keegan Klein interviewed with the Murder Sheet, right, when he was talking to Anya and Kevin, he's sitting here, and the first time he has the little brief conversation with them, he's like, yeah, you know, he felt, you know, his attorney wasn't doing it justice. He didn't know he could have only got 10 years, you know, and then he's talking about, well, once this all gets done, you know, I'll tell you about what's going on in Delphi, were his words. But then after he got this sentencing, you know, what happened? Then he's sitting here and then he's like, oh, well, I didn't, you know, I don't mean that I knew something about the, you know, Delphi case or whatever. And so he tried to push back on what he had already said. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. And I'm really hoping, you know, who knows? Maybe you sit there. There is no evidence that connects Richard Allen to any other suspects in the state. There's connection, but online sleuths say there is a connection. Well, you know what? They're not going to tell you what they have, and they've never left. They've never left the Anthony Shots link. I mean, they still were looking at Anthony Shots when they were released in April of 2022, that they found another app that Anthony Shots was communicating on, which was the Yellow app. That was in April of 2022, before they even arrested Richard Allen, that they were still looking at that, and they bring that up. So they never left the Anthony Shots piece. And
Yes.
we've had too many CSAM busts that relate to the same type of disgusting baby and toddler stuff that have been going on this last couple of weeks, that related to, like, Brent Eastman, who came from Delphi, like Logan Lorman, who lived in Delphi and was a classmate of Abby and Libby.
Pages back, JC.
Oh, there she is. Hello, ma'am.
Damn it. Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, I hate it sometimes. My phone, seriously.
You just don't.
Anyway, yeah, as you were just talking about, I don't know why so many creators are reluctant to look at the CSAM connection. I really don't. But
well, I mean, I realize everybody has their own theories. Everybody has their own stuff.
Sure.
You have what direction. I've always shared what my bias and stuff like that is.
yeah,
But, you know, and we've shared why we think that. And we
Yeah, we
show
don't
the
just
evidence
sit
of
here
why
and-
we think that.
yeah, we don't just sit here and say anything. Like, you know, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, you know, I wouldn't classify myself as a web sleuth, I guess. But, you know, if you go look at the full show we did about Anthony Shots meeting set up for Richard Allen, and you go through, we show every bit of evidence of why and when. Right? That's like before the water search happened. If you didn't catch this and you didn't watch that show, people may not know this. The one thing with Kegan Klein, and if you didn't, this was info that I had. So before, right after the water search happened, I had got a Freedom of Information Act that I requested from the jail to see visitors for Kegan Klein. And they would not allow it to go in there. And I show that in that show. I show their response is basically like they hold that in case that information of that could be used in a criminal thing. And it's like, well, why would they say that? Why would the response be that if they already have all the CSAM evidence? Why the case is already set and trying to go forward? Why would they not let during the water search happen? He's trying to make a deal, right? That's when they pushed back and said he was trying to make a deal. and you look at the timing of it. So after that all happened, then I asked for it again, and I got it. And I got to see the visitation log of everybody who was seeing him. And an unusual visit is that basically a week, maybe a little couple days more than a week's time, for some reason, Tony Klein is visiting Keegan. And this is when Keegan is trying to make contact with the Indiana State Police to talk about the case. To talk about it, we know because there's somebody who's stating that he's saying he's willing to go talk to them. So I show you in that show, that log of Tony Klein, who hasn't been visiting him. That's what's unusual. There were no other visits in there of him.
No,
He had not been there forever.
none.
He was not talking to him after his house was searched in 2020. Let me think. Right? He wasn't after we found out right before we found out that he was even in jail. His dad's house gets searched again.
Yeah.
By unmarked cars, and they take the dog and all this stuff. So it's his father hasn't been visiting him, but he's going to go tell, and he's going to go talk to the state police, and then they're taking to Grissom Air Force Base out of their custody into the Indiana State Police custody. They do the water search, and right before then, Tony, like crazy, is visiting him day after day after day. Go watch that video. I encourage anybody who hasn't seen it, go through and watch all the evidence that we show.
That's one thing. We may sit here and say, in our opinion about things occasionally, but we're not, honestly, we're not we don't just say stuff, and make it a show. We show proof, evidence. That's what Justice's channel has always been about. It's just not us. And we are so much about the family, honestly. We, our hearts are with the families, and of course with Abby and Libby. Sorry, just had to get that out there. That's what we care.
Okay. I'm trying to read CJK. Definitely Anthony shots apart. Did Alan use his brother-in-law's phone to connect with the girls? Was there CSAM on that phone and his others? Well, that's it. I mean, the phone, though, he told Dan Dolan he had and he was using that day was a burner phone. And that's because the difference between him having an IED and an MEID.
Mm-hmm. And that's in the Dan Dooling video and the Orion system video if you need to go and watch.
If you haven't, if you did, and that's a good point. Thank you, Paige, because I know the other day we were having people asking about the Orion and all that kind of stuff. There was a video that I did about Orion, about Dan Dolan, about that tip, about a little bit about information, how it gets placed in there, and the thoughts and on all of that, and info that what I had. We're not sure how that all went down as far as how it could have been entered, but it could be entered that, like I said then, was he could be entered as a witness, whatever, but
we believe that something is going down, basically.
In our opinion, yes.
Yeah.
That's our feeling.
That's what we believe, but we show you why we believe that. And if you have a different opinion based on what we show you, that's fine. We can talk about it. That's why we're all here. We can discuss this and see what everyone thinks. It's important to share that with each other.
Now, I do want to point out, I don't think, please don't misunderstand, I don't think Kegan Klein committed the murder. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I'm not saying that he's over there, down in the woods and stuff in there. I don't think he's a part of that. But you have to also look at all the evidence on his phones. If Kegan Klein has nothing to do with it, why did Keegan Klein, on the day that he's supposedly not going to go do anything with his dad, gets up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he is also Googling on his phone the Marathon gas station in Delphi, Indiana. Like I said last night, they did not run out of Snickers in Peru that he had to go to the Marathon gas station in Delphi. Why is he, after he gets searched and gets a DNA test, is he asking how long does DNA last?
Yeah, right.
He's also watching the video and audio of Bridge Guy several times.
Yeah, I know.
Also, the Anthony Shots account not only confirmed to Libby's friend that he was supposed to meet her that day, Anthony Shots later messaged Libby after he knew she was already murdered. We don't know what was said then, but we know because of the police transcripts.
And from the
So
police transcripts, they also state that it was
something's being
multiple
hidden.
girls that knew Libby, that
Yeah.
Anthony Shots was saying, trying to basically
Several-
create an alibi that I didn't see her.
Several witnesses confirmed that, which means obviously her friends. She had a bunch of girlfriends. And if you think this cute boy you met online is messaging you, you're going to tell your friends about it. You're going to be excited, you know?
Of course. Yep. And that's its
Right,
very part.
CJK, exactly.
We just
He is connected to, no matter what, he is culpable because he set up the Anthony Shots account. And see, and here's the thing, I guess we need to think about this. Here's the other part. Anthony Shots, you can't say like it was just out there floating around and anybody could get access to it. People have to understand that means the Anthony Shots photo was that particular model who is that cop from Alaska with that photo being used and was also named Anthony Shots. That is a specific, very specific, created fake profile that Kegan Klein created. And in the communications, repeatedly, even before the murders, Emily Ann and Kegan Klein's actual profiles, personas, were asking. Now, Anthony Shots never asked this. Emily Ann and Kegan did. Was, will you have sex with my dad?
Yeah.
Will you have sex with my dad? So why? Why would he say, by the way, will you have sex with my dad that happens to be in his 40s at the time?
Also in the police transcripts, the Emily Ann account often liked the girls they were talking to refer to them as daddy. Him as daddy, whoever they were talking to. Daddy. Mm-hmm.
It's like, why?
You know what, Melissa? We don't know if she was tricked or groomed into sending something to a 19-year-old teenager that she thought Anthony Shots was.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, or tell everybody, hundreds of thousands of girls, preteens, tweens, are tricked to do this all the time.
And it's disgusting.
All the time. And if it is your daughter, granddaughter, sister, niece, it is not any of their fault that they have predators who are pretending to be teenage girls. Think about that. Emily Ann, he pretended to be a girl. That is the most normal thing that those pedophiles create. That is common. That is one of their big tricks. They know they share techniques with each other, how to do this shit.
And they think it's easier, you know, to kind of elicit sexual conversation when it's a girl talking to a girl. They think they might be more comfortable, you know, that kind of situation.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, that's one of the things. I mean, not a lot of channels will unfortunately touch on the CSAM. And believe me, I am not sitting here saying it's my favorite thing to speak of either, or pages. And I think I could speak for all three of us, or
Oh.
JSDs. We do it because it's an important thing to
But
discuss.
yeah, and I also can't deny the fact that in those police transcripts, they say to Keegan Klein that Libby was in love with Anthony Shots and she was being groomed. They use the word groomed. Okay.
Right.
So again, we can't just completely disregard any of that. You can't.
Mm-mm.
Well, and the reason I say we don't know is because also in one of the questions they do ask there was a statement by one of the officers to Keegan when he was being interviewed. Were you trying to get images and stuff, from her? And honestly, whether they did or they didn't, we don't know. And she could have sent something to him. Because you got to remember, on the slumber party, there was 2 slumber parties that weekend. The first slumber party was on Saturday night, and Abby was not at that slumber party. There was another girl. That girl was aware that Libby was trying to meet Anthony Shots. Think about it. It's their Valentine's Day.
She was
He'd been
talking to
talking
him
to her
that day.
at least since December that we have proof of, right? We have proof.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
That we've
it should be way earlier than that because he started, think about this. Anthony
July.
Shots was created. Those things, the account's created a year before on February 14th of 2016.
Yep.
Instagram and Snapchat, one of those 2 was created. The other one was created a couple of days before then. So exactly 1 year prior was when Anthony Shots was finally made. So now it's a new persona, a new ploy. It's no longer the other girl, hey, I'm a girl too, blah, blah, blah. And it's no longer, oh, by the way, here's my stepbrother, Kegan Klein. And then here's my dad, and here's my dad and whatever. And
Right.
and that Emily Ann is trying to get them to, would they have sex with her father is a completely repeated question.
Yeah.
And so to turn around also and be like, the cops talk about 2 different types of voices talking at that time. And that's meaning that one of them was using the term, wanted to say daddy.
Yes.
And then the night of that second sleepover, which was on the 11th, where Abby was not part of that sleepover, there were communicating back and forth. And if you remember, Keegan Klein says, well, I don't remember a Libby. His quote unquote words were, she's annoying.
Yeah.
He says I remember her friend. Well, that's because Anthony Shots is having, they believe, simultaneously conversations. One is talking to Abby's friend on Saturday, and one is, to Libby's friend on Saturday, and one is talking to Libby. So who is the Anthony Shots talking to Libby on Saturday night? So Sunday, they're still talking. Anthony Shots is still talking to them. Now Abby and Libby are at the slumber party. And then there's arrangements to meet. And early that morning, there is a communication with Libby and Anthony Shots.
Yeah.
And so then there's supposed to be a coincidence that the man who created this, who is communicating, also trying to ask about having sex with older men rather than himself or just images, looks up the Delphi gas station, also looks up how long DNA lasts. also was trying to go back to Libby's friends as Anthony Shot, saying, "Oh yeah, I was going to meet her, but I didn't. She never showed up." Is telling all of them because they heard from all of her friends that
Yeah,
said that.
they confirmed that. And then Anthony Shots messaged Libby after he knew she was already murdered. After the communication with her friends that this happened and he was supposed to meet her, more messages were sent to her as if he didn't know that.
Right.
So who was that? Who was that?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
and the Anthony Shots is saying he didn't meet her. The Keegan's trying to explain why he's looking up about Delphi while he's in Vegas. But then while they're in Vegas, Anthony Shots is trying to again create an alibi.
Yeah, and pretend he
is
doesn't know.
communicating, like acting like he's communicating with Libby. Well, one of Libby's friends already told Anthony Shots that she was missing and then she was dead. So why is suddenly Anthony Shots now trying to talk to her and send her stuff, trying to act like Anthony Shots doesn't know what's going on and what happened?
Yeah, when we're to believe that the creator of Anthony Shots and the only person involved in Anthony Shots is Keegan, who already knew about the murders and he was looking into it all online. So why would he do that if he had no involvement or nothing? No one else had any involvement with the Anthony Shots account. Like, make it make sense.
Exactly. It doesn't.
Now, I want to be very clear. I have always said this is my theory. I've always said I'm just going to show you why. I've shown you why the evidence, I believe, shows that what the reason that I feel, what in my opinion is involved. I think Anthony Shots set up this meeting. Period. I think it set up this meeting. Do I think somebody else can be involved? Actually, in my opinion, I do. And I'm not going to speak for everybody, whatever. I do think that there can be another person involved. I do think, because I don't think this is the first time that Richard Allen did something. I mean, I do think it's the first time Richard Allen did something, because he had witnesses, that saw him and he just kept going. He just kept going. And we talked about that the other night in the show, but
yeah. And
yes,
when we
Melissa,
say
we know, I know you're not judging or blaming, and that I only share that because a lot of people have to understand. We tell our kids not to be on social media. We tell them not to friend somebody they don't know. Here's the other thing that they do. They turn around and see the Anthony Shots knew tons of those girls. You know why? Because once he gets one girl to be friends with him somewhere, then he sits here and he tries to befriend someone else, and they go look at it and go, wow, I don't really know this. I mean, he is a good looking 19-year-old boy, according to him. So wait a minute, but I see so-and-so is friends with him. Okay, well, I'm going to friend him. Then he tries to befriend another friend of theirs. And then he sits here and it's like, oh, well, wait a minute, I don't really know him. Well, wait a minute, he can't be bad. Two of my other friends. And then it grows and it grows and it grows. And then he starts grooming those girls to see who he can manipulate and convince. And as I went through guilt,
I'll say it again. Like, when it comes to all those arrests and stuff to do with CSAM recently, I can't ignore Doug Carter's statement as well, where he says that Anthony Shots and the Kegan Klein thing helped them gain significant investigative leads in the Delphi case.
Absolutely.
So again, you can't ignore that. What does that mean? If it meant nothing, wouldn't he just say, not that? You wouldn't say that.
It's one of the reasons why one of my favorite videos is the puzzle pieces,
Yeah, and that was when we knew what we knew back then.
Yes,
we talked about doing a whole new timeline, if you guys would like to see us do that. And because our timeline then, we plug in all the different probable cause affidavits, when search warrants were going on, where, all of that stuff, we plug that in. And now we have so much more that we're, can fill in now. But I want to answer Brown Skittle. Yes. I mean, he realized after the fact that he should have made a deal at the beginning, because there's nobody else that's going to help Keegan. I mean, Keegan realizes his dad is not visiting him. His dad is not sending him money anymore. And he was shocked by that, remember, during the Barbara McDonald interview. And so now he wasn't getting any support and stuff from it. So now he knows he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. And he's got these 40 years that he's going to serve. And then, then he's going to sit here and be like, okay, he gets a brand new attorney who's going to help him with it. The Indiana Attorney General wholeheartedly is like, he's got what time he has. And it could be reduced. Who knows? Maybe somehow some judge thought, oh, wow, yes, how harsh you were. But to take off that much time, come on.
Yeah,
I think he gave up. I think something could be there. And moved at the same time? Exactly. I don't know.
I think he's being protected, in my opinion. And I think he is talking. That's my opinion. Now, granted, we could see something come down from the appellate court, within the next couple of days. It's possible. That could happen too. But like you just said, JSD, that's a lot of time to have been removed off your sentence,
Oh, did I miss sleuth intuition? Wow, even Jinx can catch on more than I can. I'm doing horrible at this. Like, oh, maybe it's.
That's why we love Jinx.
So anybody who has come in here later on, I just want to kind of just recap again what we showed at the very beginning as well. We had word that Kegan Klein was moved. We went to confirm that, and at first it was showing 11 out of there. When we have many more, 11 systems are down in Indiana to see who is in, like you look it up to find out who's in jail and prison. And so finally it was found, and it confirmed that he was moved to the Newcastle facility, and that also show that a person, and following his stuff, that it also shows a notification to people that he was moved. So after it shows the notification that he's moved, then it was then noticed that on the form that we showed you, he is sitting here, and his sentence of 40 years time now shows that he's due to get out in 2048, which is only 24 years. And for some reason, at the time that we were doing all this to try to get up here and let you know what's happening, it also shows that you can't see his criminal record right now for some reason.
Gone. And that has happened before, unfortunately, when we've done stuff, remember, when we're searching, and sure enough, as soon as that's happened, a day or two later, something comes down the pike. It's happened before. It's just crazy. So it's not.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I feel like no matter what, if Richard Allen came and said he's willing to plead deal, even if Kegan talks, I think they'd still do it. I think they would still do it. But, I think they would still possibly accept his plea deal, because, they also may, if they do think that anybody else could be involved to take them down, they would ask Richard Allen to speak too. No matter what, part of his plea deal is you have to tell us the absolute truth. What was the plan? What were you trying to do? What was the end game here, right?
Exactly. You have to tell us everything, start to finish.
Right. Served, we're in communication with girls, share info about guy creep man. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kegan does lie.
Absolutely to that too.
Absolutely. You know what?
Yes.
He is an habitual liar. He is an absolute habitual liar.
But in those lies, there is always a bit of truth.
Exactly.
A bit.
Well, and he's and he's protecting, he's protecting somebody
And
for him not to talk.
Exactly.
Think about that. Why would he have not talked at the beginning? That doesn't make any sense. Why would if he's not covering for somebody, why wouldn't have he just, because he had freely admitted, you've got, here's all, those are all my devices. Yes, they're now. What phone did he delete though, guys? He deletes the phone that had info from 2017 and
exactly.
2016. So he deletes the most active phone he is using.
Hmm. And all they could recover were the pings showing the communications, and they were all to the local area. Find that very interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm hoping, wouldn't it be great if maybe the Kegan Kline developments, if we definitely find out, if they're not ready to tell us all details, we also could hear it's this, that, or the other, right? I mean, they could even come and say plea deal, which would, I'm not saying it can't be. I just, taking off that much time, a little unusual. I'm not, and I always thought he got more time than he would have. And it could have just been plea off of that stuff. But it's weird coincidence that he gets moved the way he did.
Yes.
There could be something, why did he get moved?
Yeah.
So
What was the reason?
mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the clear blue like that. And that notification, I mean, that was sent to a victim, Obviously, we are not going to divulge that, but who it is. But, I mean, and that just happened. So, why? I'm just dumbfounded.
Well, I mean, we definitely wanted to get this information out to you guys right away that something was going down again. Again, this is all happening around all of this stuff that's happening, right? The Brent Eastman from Delphi guy that was in Anderson, the Logan Lorman that they were trying to keep quiet. And, then, we find out about that. And then I show you guys, if you haven't watched that video, go watch Logan Lorman, a classmate of Abby and Libby's, who was arrested for CSAM, kind of secretly when it was back in 2022, the beginning of 2022. And then they ended up making him a plea deal. He's serving no time, a registered sex offender. He's in that list, but he's serving no time for the CSAM with aggravating factors in it. All of this is going down. And then now, we've got the only 70 days. Richard Allen, let's get this over with, trial in May. By May, unless something happens, he decides to make a deal or move forward, especially if he has more evidence that shows proof that he did something, I'm sorry, read another question. Comes to my mind where the opportunity Kegan would have for obtaining CSAM of the event. That can be the motive.
Yeah.
That can be the motive.
Yeah, because even in the Ron Logan documents, they kind of state that from the crime scene and the murders that they were actually looking to see if photos and things possibly could have been taken as well as souvenirs. So it's interesting to wonder why they would have thought that,
Right. So we wanted to get this out to you guys right away. We're going to keep on it. We'll let you know if something else develops. Always please keep an eye on the community post, because when I have the latest and greatest news and I can't go live or something like that, like we have the last couple of days, I will definitely drop the updates in the community post. I know I've always been horrible at going and looking at all the YouTube channels that I subscribe to and reading their posts. And I try to get better at that now that I'm realizing myself that, God, I post a lot of stuff that I don't do videos about, that's updates and stuff in that community post. So please keep an eye on that, because if there's another detail that happens, I'll probably drop that in there for you guys to know of what else is learned and stuff too. So, you know, and Turbo Time, yes, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I know Turbo Time does a lot of work for watching the CSAM stuff and how this is all connected. Um, and we appreciate your work as well. So,
Absolutely.
yes, absolutely. We appreciate you guys. Sorry, just reading, trying to catch up. So, I want to thank Mama Bear and Paige again for jumping up and
Feels like
doing.
deja vu.
And I was like, come on, let's go, ladies.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Let's go, ladies. We got to do this.
Oh
We
my
got to
God.
get this thing up there. We got to let people know because it's not out there right now. It wasn't even flowing out there yet. Like, what the hell? Nobody's
Yeah.
talking about. I mean, even at minimal, the news is he got moved and his sentence is reduced to 24 years. Period. That's the facts. The other is just our reaction and our thoughts and our position and our some speculation of what could be going down.
Right.
But a lot has been going down lately. A lot of people are being arrested and busted and thrown in jail for CSAM. Some people who we didn't even know were arrested, were arrested for it. So, you got to keep that stuff in mind. So, Mama Bear, thank you so much for joining up here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. And Miss Paige, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
up here so last minute. And I
It's
appreciate
always
you
fun.
both. Jinx, we need to thank you again for modding. We appreciate that somebody can keep on top of that with us.
We love our
We
Jinx.
appreciate it as well. So, all right, Paige, I'll catch up with you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Mama Bear.
Bye.
Thanks again, guys, for jumping in here. We hope you found this information useful and informative for you. Want to keep you up to date in the developments. God, it would be nice if this could just come to an ending, right? It just feels like we would never, ever get to an ending for this case. And we're getting closer and closer. And we will know what all the details are. If my theories and stuff are wrong, I will wholeheartedly say, you know what? I was wrong. My opinion isn't this way. It didn't go this way, or it didn't involve this or whatever. I can only tell you what my gut feels. And I follow enough CSAM and things like that to be able to tell you guys that this, unfortunately, meeting up with the girls and things happening to them is way more common than people know. And you got to be informed about it. And I want to keep you guys informed about it. And I want to keep your kids safe, other people's kids safe, family safe, no matter what. And make sure that my justice warriors, you guys out there who watch the show, are engaged and involved in what we can do to help kids who have gone through this and to help kids who are going through this. And that is the laws that I talk about. I go over them. Please, please watch the shows and stuff about that. Please, if you wanted to hear the people who asked about Orion, go check out the Orion Dan Doolin video. People want to know the specific details going through with Kegan Klein, with Richard Allen, of the facts that I use that make me believe that. Go catch that show. It's a marathon show. I think it's like maybe 3 hours or whatever, but go check that show out. I go through each of those. Love for you to watch it. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. I am not a monetized channel. I want to tell you that if a victim and for their family and for that victim, I want to say that somebody's murdered, not somebody's unalive. I want to tell you if somebody has been sexually assaulted or raped. I don't want to sit here and use initials to describe true crime. And YouTube needs to get it together on that. True crime YouTubers should be able to say these terms, and because that's what we're about, is to bring that to people. So I do appreciate all of you so much. You humble me every time you come and watch. Thank you for being here. Keep an eye out. We'll keep you updated on more developments. And thank you for making sure that justice is served daily. Bye, guys.